I know a rabbi who's incredibly advanced in her career, amazing, an inspiration. And every time she talks to me, we sit down and she says, I can't get over the feeling of all the choices I made, all the doors I closed, the things I didn't do, the paths I didn't take. Because choosing something can sometimes mean that we didn't choose other things. We went a specific direction. And there's something different than choosing it, the initial enthusiasm of we're gonna go somewhere new, we're gonna feel it, and living in that choice. The young people call it FOMO, a fear of missing out, that there's something elsewhere that you didn't try, where you were supposed to be. It can lead to a state of complaining, a sense of, I'm not quite in my place. The Israelites, when they leave Egypt, are known for their complaining. Mitlonanim, they're grumbling as they go. The food isn't right, the water isn't right. They turn to Moshe and they say, you could have just let us die in Egypt. Wasn't there space there for graves? They're not happy with the choice as they keep going. And they're pursued. Pharaoh sends soldiers after them. They're caught at the banks of the Red Sea. And they think, this is really it. We closed the wrong door. We went the wrong way. But there's a miracle. They make it across. And you'd think in this great miracle, now they would see we made the right choice. But still no. Even a great miracle, beautiful things happening, can't necessarily change our frame of mind and say, wow, I'm really happy where I am. Something else needs to happen. God gives the Torah, the people are terrified. They say, please, Moses, you listen, we're really scared of this. There's a big thunder and lightning. It's not something that makes them feel we're in a really safe place. So where in the stories of Exodus, where does it change? I think it begins when they start to build the Mishkan. They start to build a holy place. Why? Because it's something that they all can participate in. Instead of once following behind Moshe and wandering through the desert, not sure where they're going, we read at the beginning of last week's Parsha, Parshat Truma, that all of the Israelites are invited to come forward as his heart inclines, Yidveno Libo, each and every member of the community, whichever way his heart pulls him, brings Truma, a free gift. From all of the things they've brought with them, of beautiful stones and gold and fabrics, all the things they're carrying, they can participate in building something new. But again, sometimes making that new choice of building something new, that comes with its own energy. You're focused, you're making something. But once you've built it, then what do? And I think there's something for us to learn in the juxtaposition of Parshat Truma last week and Parshat Tetzaveh from this week. Because in Truma they were building, and in Tetzaveh they have to bring the thing they've built alive. They have to make it function. Now you might wonder what happens between those two parshiot, Truma and Tetzaveh, because we know the Israelites, they're on the move. They're not planning to stay there in the desert. They're on their way to Israel. And yet, they've made this choice to build something enormous. It's gilded, it's full of stones and wood. This is a tent they've built in the desert. They're not planning on staying here, but they've invested a lot of energy into making it. You could imagine that when they're done and it's standing there, they look at each other and say, what now? We're carrying this? This is we're gonna take with us through the desert? But we see that there's an immediate strategy. God says to Moses, Tetzaveh, either teach or command the Israelites to bring in shemen zait, zach katit. Each one of them has to bring in olive oil, and not just any olive oil, but clear beaten olive oil, katit. It takes effort. So now we're not just going off of what our heart is, but we need this lesson. When we've built something, to be in it, to really choose it, and to be happy with our choice, we have to bring in something that takes a little bit of effort. Every day to make the Ner Tamid, what hangs above us, every day they have to bring in this effortful oil, the oil that's beaten and crushed, the first thing that they make. That constant effort is a way in which everyone stays engaged and you can feel a bit of ownership. I made this choice. I'm happy I'm here. You might know the difference during COVID when we all sat at home, there was nothing to do, a feeling of malaise. Am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I supposed to be somewhere else? But when you have effort every day, something you're working on and you're building, there's a sense of connection. We also get a different use of the word lev, heart. In the past parsha, it was yidveno libo, whatever their heart intends. And now God says to Moses, go and find the chachamei lev, those with the wise of heart. They're the next step. It's not Moses that's the next step. It's not even Aaron, he comes later. The next step when you build something is to find the people with a passion. Chachamei lev means literally wisdom of heart. But what's wisdom doing in the heart? We think it's in the brain or, somewhere out there, something we have to find in Torah. But no, God says, find the people with the wise hearts, and they're going to make the beautiful clothes to consecrate the priests to priestly service. There is something in the next step of finding those who have a passion about anything, something that they love. It could be making clothes, it could be fashioning little things out of stone, whatever it is. Those people are the next step, because if you help people grow the good and the enthusiasm they're already carrying around with them, living in the choice you made becomes divine. It becomes an opportunity to be part of something incredible. There's no moment to look back and say, I should have gone the other way, because here you are following your heart and your passion. The last thing we learn from Tetzaveh after continuous effort and letting people follow their passions is a sense of division of labor. There's a saying we used to have when I was working in the wilderness that shared responsibility is no one's responsibility. And so we get from Parshat Tetzaveh that there are people who are responsible for certain things. There are some people who have to make the sacrifices go through, the priests, some who have to keep the light lit. We even get the division of tribes, everyone living their own separate life. And in this way, with constant effort and allowing those who have a passion to follow the goodness in their heart and finding which job is suitable for which person, we're able to be where we are and say, I'm in the right place. I don't need to follow any other door. Here in the desert, in what we've built, we've made a sanctuary, a place for the divine to dwell among us. And that's the promise that God gives to the Israelites in Tetzaveh. If you follow these instructions, you too can dwell in a place of divinity and relationship with God and each other. Shabbat Shalom.